You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Conor McAvoy, rep tracker himself, as we catch up in the latest news in Irish football. How are you getting on, Conor?
I'm good, Martin. It's been a good couple of days of watching our League of Ireland sides in Europe, so it's been good to see a win for Shells last night. Meepo getting the goal, which was, in fairness, Shells absolutely dominated Linfield, and so it's to see them go back up the road with nothing. And yeah, it was a good win for Pats as well tonight too. In fairness, absolutely dominated. Helgeman should have won more than 1-0. Both teams should have won more than 1-0 over the two games over the last couple of days, and that's probably the only disappointment for Irish sides in playing Europe. Even though as good as it is to win matches, both ties should probably be over, but it'll give them confidence going into next week because both sides will know they're both miles really ahead in terms of football and ability, and they'll probably hope they can go and finish the jobs next week, which is always good for Irish football.
All good to hear, of course. And obviously, transfer window's open, and we've got a very busy show where we're going to catch up on the latest news, see which of the lads from the Boys in Green have made any full moves. There are some speculation, of course, so we're going to bring you the latest news on that. But we wanted to chat to you a few things first. This is something that's happening on the 19th of July. This is in collaboration with Heads in the Game. They've got a charity game kicking on, So Sad Ireland, and that's at Oriel Park on July the 19th at 4 p.m. So do have a look in the link below this show for details of how you get tickets to support that very worthy cause. We've got some exciting plans ahead with Head in the Game that we're going to be working with them on, so we won't spoil that now, but yeah, just get yourself down there to Oriel Park, July the 19th at 4 p.m. If you haven't subscribed to the show, please make sure you do. Follow us all on all our social platforms, Facebook, X. We're on TikTok, I think. We're on Instagram, all of these social platforms. And with that in mind, we're also going to appeal to the Raw faithful and all our lovely viewers and listeners, because we have the Content Awards. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the Football Content Awards.
Football Content Awards. Right, here we go. We're calling out for your help, the Raw faithful. We're asking you to help nominate Rep Tracker, that's Conor himself, and Lansdowne Raw for these awards. You can nominate both platforms in the following categories, and you'll have to do two separate forms for both platforms. If you go onto our on Rep Tracker and also on Twitter as well, where Lansdowne Raw is, you can see the link there. And
we can do it. It'll be in the comments. It'll be in not in the comments.
It'll be in the comments as well.
Description.
Yeah. So, but if you do want to see what we're all about and all the fantastic free content that you get from all of our social media platforms, and of course this show as well, that's what we want you to do. Give us a bit of credit, help us out, and any nominations massively appreciated, so we can go forward to the next round. So that's just a bit of housekeeping and all of there. But look, the main focus here. Make sure you have all subscribed, of course, to our YouTube channel here. And yeah, as I said, we're going to come on to chatting about some transfer window. I'm jumping in here though. This is totally off the cuff. The lad's done a fantastic roundup recently, of transfer news, and I was delighted to see this one. I'm putting it up. Callum O'Dowda. You've all doubted me, but Champions League football, it's going to happen. There you go, Conor.
Will you have an apology to make to Callum himself?
Who? Me?
You said he loves living at home and he's never going to move out of the Midlands of England, and he goes to Hungary. You've apologised for that. You're basically saying he's a home bird and he's scared of leaving England, and you've apologised for him. Today's gone and took him out of his comfort zone, and he's away to play with Robbie Keane.
A fantastic move for him. Delighted for him joining up with Robbie Keane, another man I have a high regard for, of course, and absolute legend. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic move for him. And actually, when I saw this move, kind of speculation, obviously linking Robbie Keane stuff, it did take me back to Robbie Keane when O'Dowda was first in the Ireland squad, and obviously that was kind of in the twilight of Robbie's international career. And he did say that he'd kind of had this kind of conversation with Callum in the lift. I think it must have been the Castle Knock Hotel or wherever it was where the lads were staying. But he was just saying like he could see that Callum was on the start of his international journey at that time, and he was coming to the end of it. But he just really said to Callum that it was, it just goes by in such a flash. And O'Dowda, is he 30 years old now? It's a fantastic move for him. Has been plagued by injuries, sadly, but I think it's a really brave move from him. And going over there, I think Agent O'Dowda is over there now doing all the work behind the scenes before we go over to Budapest at the end of this year in the World Cup qualifiers. I have messaged his dad as well, Brendan, who is a fantastic supporter of Risk London over the years as well. And I did say to him, make sure he kind of finds out in the coming months where the best spots are for when we obviously travel over to Budapest. And he said, yep, that's the mission, and he will do it. But yeah, best of luck to Callum going over there. I think it's a fantastic move. And I think very honest as well, how he said, he's looking after his family. It was obviously a tough move leaving Cardiff. I mean, I know you two jest saying, Captain Cod brought them down and things like that. But, we did think that there was going to be a move from Cardiff. And yeah, I think it was a surprising one. But yeah, I thought I'd get my 2p worth on that bit. But I suppose the main talking point here, speculation coming through all over social media today, is another... a player we have a lot of admiration for, but we want him to do well. Of course, Evan Ferguson, linked very closely now with a move to Roma. Conor, what have you got to add on that?
Yeah, it's come out massively because myself and Dave spoke about the other day when it originally only kind of broken, when it was like they have interest in taking him on loan, and that was kind of it. We didn't know whether Evan would have been open to the move or whether Brighton were that fond of it. But it seems to have developed quite a bit over the last couple of days. Roma have lost their Uzbekistan striker today, but I don't think he would have been a starter anyway. And he's gone off to play with Fesi at Istanbul Başakşehir, and then it probably leaves an open for a striker. But from Di Marzio, the Italian footballing expert, he's been saying a lot how much Roma are pushing for it. Romano spoke again today that the deal is on and talks are taking place still. It's interesting. Atalanta seem very keen on him, who want to buy him on a permanent deal, whilst Roma are only... I think it's only I don't know whether they only want a loan deal or whether Brighton would prefer a loan deal, because I don't think that's maybe Roma can't afford to pay the fee, whatever it would be from. But yeah, Gasparini's got in at Roma after doing an unbelievable job at Atalanta over the last whatever. I don't even know how many years he's been there, to be honest, but felt like he was there a lifetime, and he done an excellent job there. Roma, I think, are going to be on the up again next season with signing him. I've seen Ricardo Rios that was playing in Brazil. An excellent player is going to them as well. So I think it's going to be, if this move goes through, I think it's a brilliant move. It looks like it's going to happen. I think it's always a big thing. I'm very, very against young Irish players going to play in Italy if they're going into an academy setup. But I think it's completely different when you're an established first teamer, which Evan is at this stage, and he'll go in there and he'll be seen as probably the main number 9. I know Dobbik is there, but I do not think Dobbik will be seen as a more elite striker than Evan. I think Evan's just so much more complete in every aspect, and I think it's probably the best move. Maybe get to a different country. I think the benefit of getting to a country where he doesn't speak the language might benefit him, because he might, if abuse in the media, abuse from fans, abuse of social media. I know you'd have to just Google Translate, but you can't really read it as such if you were in England, where everything's on top of you. Even the Irish media is so much closer to you when you're playing and thingy. And I just think if it goes through, and it looks like at this stage the move will happen, I just think it would be a great move. What do you think?
I think it'd be a good move. Yeah, look, I'm just going to pick up a couple of things there. This I think there's kind of a bit of a false perception that Evan gets a lot of criticism in the media. Do you think he does?
I think it's more from fans than it is from. He gets better from fans. He doesn't really get it from the media itself.
Yeah, I mean, I just think 20 years old, he is. I was thinking about it the other day. I was listening. He got a little bit of coverage on Talk Sport. Obviously, I'm in London and out and about sometimes, listening to Talk Sport every now and again. But it was Andy Townsend actually talking the other day about him and that what he kind of thinks he needs to do and stuff. But the way they were talking was as if it would be good for him to kind of get away from being in the spotlight, and kind of the way I read it was like kind of knuckle down and stuff. But I've never heard anything about kind of poor behaviour or not kind of giving his all focus. I know there was a little bit of that perhaps with Brighton at one stage, but a long time ago. But I've never really had that kind of thought of him. And I think he's been incredibly well backed by Stephen Kenny. And then Heimer has backed him as well, kind of made him his number one striker. He's 20 years old. He has had injury problems. He's had a lack of playing time as well, of course. But, I don't think there's anything off field that distracted him too much, as far as I know. So, I think it's a great move. And I, just to kind of let the Raw faithful know as well, you can go back and listen to the last episode of this show where Dave and Conor were chatting about transfers then and speculation as Evan. And I think you make a good point there on the last show where you spoke about like those number 9 kind of strikers in Italy. They do well, like Lukaku, Higuain's done well there over the years. Evan does fit that kind of profile. And, I think it will be a loan move if it happens, because I was looking up there on just X before we came on the show just to see. And, Brighton fans don't want to see him go. Well, a lot of the ones I was kind of looking at, I suppose, they were saying they don't really want to give up on him and can't believe the club are as well. So I think if it was a full sale, it would be with loads of different clauses, add-ons, and of what he goes on to possibly do to kind of secure them. I mean, look, we saw Alanga go to Newcastle the other day, and Man United made 11 million out of the deal. So these clubs, they do kind of try to protect themselves from that. You even look back to Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne. Didn't work out for them at clubs very early on in their career, and then went on to be world stars. I think we have to be very, very patient with some of these players. He was doing it in the Premier League. He's had some injury problems. He's not been rated at certain moves. They haven't worked out for him. But he's 20 years old and he can kick on. So I think it would be a good move. And I'm excited to see it as well. And I mean, it'll give us another focus. I get your point as well. If you go into an academy in Italy, you can just get a little bit lost there. But he's going in. They'll be playing European football, will they, as well?
Yeah, they've qualified for Europe. Yeah.
So, he's going to learn an awful lot. And it is a risky move for him if he was going somewhere where, he's too good for the Championship. But if he did go to the Championship and he got injured, he's just out of contention altogether. I think if he's playing at a high level and he's okay, and he's doing well and scoring goals, it's a brave move from him. But I keep saying that about all of these lads who are moving in the World Cup qualification year, because they can't go missing. They've got to get it right, but they've also got to ultimately deliver. So I'm hoping all the best if that goes through.
Yeah, like on the number 9 thing, like you always see these number 9s, more traditional number 9s, which Evan's more of a traditional number 9 than he is now. I know he has the ability to drop deeper and pick up the ball and make things happen because he's just that good of a player. But I just think he would score goals for absolute fun in Italy. You just see like the service he'd get, the way the style of football is, probably the slower style of play, probably fits more of the slow build-up tempo, that it'd be easier for him to get on the ball and make things happen. I just think in terms of if he's going to go on loan, I think a team like Roma is perfect, especially with the Europa League as well. That the reality is, if you're de facto in the Europa League, probably means the thing that even if he doesn't start every single league game, he's still going to play 75-80% of games, because he's going to be playing in the Europa League either way. So it's not like he's going to be, I know he's going to be fighting for the number 9 spot, but it's still going to be quite heavily rotated because of the amount of minutes he'll have to play in all competitions. And you see like Lukaku and Mobile, who else you see, Di Natale, all tearing up the Italian league. And I think he's the next to go in there. And I think I would be, I don't want to say shocked, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't go in there next season and stay. And if he stays fit for the full season and plays the minutes we expect him to play, he doesn't score at least 15 goals in the league, because he's that good. We've seen Hoyland score, 12 goals for Atalanta, and he's gone to the Premier League, and he's been a disaster. Zurchi actually teared it up as well with Bologna. So I just think it's a type of league Evan will go into. He'll do so well. I think the low move seems perfect. And I think it would be an absolute embarrassment of a business decision if Brighton sold Evan Ferguson. I think the only reason they could maybe consider it would be PSR to get the money in, obviously, and he'd be considered a homegrown player because he went over there when he was 16, and they can make more money off him through PSR. But what would you be thinking? Like, you can see by their fan reaction, like even if the fans that think that he's not good enough to start for their first team right now, none of them would sell him because he's under a long-term contract. I think he's under contract till 2029. And what do you want to just sell him now when his value's at his lowest? And the thing is, even if he goes to Italy next year and scores 10 goals, his value will still be more than what it is this season, because go after this season, this will be probably the lowest I think it'll ever be until he turns 40. So yeah, I just really hope this low move goes through, and I do hope it's a low move because I want him to have the option next year. If Brighton do well in the league, go back to them, plays European football with them, or some other English team comes in, or some other option. But it has been interesting. DiMarzio has said he does have other offers as well, and I don't know if he's fully accepted Roma or not, because I'd imagine there's offers from a couple of Premier League clubs. I'm sure there's a few that have offered him, and hopefully maybe a few German clubs as well, which would probably be ideal if he went to Germany. Either I think Italy would a certain type of club I think would do very well, and then I think Germany. I think a lot of Bundesliga clubs you'd see him fit it like a glove.
Yeah, I think as well we've got to remember, Pedro left as well, Brighton, so he's got that kind of option in a way. If he wants to turn around and go, I'm going to fight for my place here, and I believe I could be your number 9 here, that's an option for him. I hope he gets the right decision, and I hope, it's not surprising to me that teams are coming in. I think as well, we spoke about this on the show before, Harry Kane, you look back on transfer market or wherever it is, and you see Harry Kane's loan moves and things. He was all over the place as well. I think going into Roma, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for him. I know it's a different generation to when Robbie Keane went for that 1 year into Milan, but he was the big hope of Irish football. And what he learned in that 1 year over in Italy was amazing for him. He got free kicks for nothing. He was just very wily, playing with better players, playing a different type of football as well, very early in his career. I think can only benefit him. So, yeah, I'm hoping it goes through, and best of luck to Evan, of course. Yep. We've got some other transfers we want to chat about as well. This is another one that, a player we talk about, Joe Hodge, very young Irish player, of course, at Wolves at the moment, but he's set to join La Liga. Join League of Portugal club CD Tondela on a permanent basis. So this is a permanent move, and it's reported that by Talking Wolves on X, it's reported that Hodge will join in a free transfer with a 20 to 30% sell-on fee. You've spoken about Joe Hodge before. I mean, you say a very technical player, isn't he? Do you think this move would suit him?
Yeah, I think it's a great move, to be honest with you. I think, like, anyone has seen him play with Ireland under 21s, or even when he played in the under 19s when he was 16, he's just technically he's a top class player. It's obvious why he came through Man City and started in all MFA Youth Cup winning teams alongside Cole Palmer and like Delap and Lavia. Like, it's ridiculous talent around him, and he was always was a standout in them teams. And it's been a real pity over, I'd say, the last 3-4 years. He had an awful back injury when he first joined Wolves, which set him back probably a good year and a half. And then he got back into it. He's played a couple of games for Wolves' first team. I remember he played against Liverpool at Anfield and done very well and showed how good of a player he actually is. And then he went to QPR on loan last January. I remember he scored in his debut and the fans loved him, but then the regulars there kind of came back in and he didn't really get a chance again after that. And then he had the loan to Huddersfield this season, which just didn't go to plan. All honestly, he played a lot of games, but probably his performance levels weren't as high as what they should have been, and he missed a lot of minutes for the Ireland 21s through injury, and he was the captain, and he was a big loss when he was missing. You could see his impact was missing, but he's a serious player. I think he has that bit of Josh Cullen about him, that he's so technical that going to the continent for a couple of years could really benefit him, and like going to the top tier Portugal probably shows how highly touted he is around the globe, because he went to League One and didn't have a great loan spell in League One, and he's going to a top tier Portuguese side. They won the second tier last year, so probably it'll be fight at the lower end of the table, but it's a massive opportunity. Brilliant footballer, technically superb, covers ground very well, and he's a leader, which you've seen for the 21s. So, and he absolutely adores playing for Ireland, which is always a massive help. I know when he was younger, he was offered a very hefty boot sponsorship deal with a certain brand to switch to England, and he turned it down because he wanted to play for Ireland, which is always a good thing. We always be happy to see an Irishman. So I think he'll do very well in Portugal. I think it's the right move to go play in a more technical league where he can really show how good he is as a player, and it puts him into the Ireland picture. I wouldn't say just yet that you go instant call up because he's playing at that level, even though he plays week in, week out. He will need to do well. You can't just play in the Portuguese league, because it's not like it is playing in the Premier League. Like, he needs to be playing well, like, as such, and maybe get to a stage where you're like, oh yeah, he's on course to getting a move to a bigger Portuguese club or bigger club around the continent or a better English team. But yeah, you can see what the reason. Like I know Wolves will let him go for free, but there's a reason they put 20 to 30% sell on fee in it because he is very highly thought of.
Mm. Yeah, so best of luck to Joe Hodge going over there, and we will be following the lads on their travels and on where they've all
Too many
settled
leagues
down.
at this stage,
Hopefully,
isn't it?
it's going to be hard to follow.
Uh,
Oh, big next year is going to be great fun. I mean, it's just
I
going to
know.
be
Don't worry, you won't have to follow it
riddled
and be me
full of.
following it.
Well, yeah, we know that. Well, that's why we've got you on board, like Rep Tracker. But we'll be spotting mistakes weekly with Dave still, and he won't pronounce half the team names correctly. So looking forward to that very much. And we have got some big plans for the show. We've got a season preview, obviously coming up as well. Next few weeks, as we give our predictions on what we think is going to happen this season. So do follow us. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. And of course, as I've said at the start of this show as well. It would be really appreciated if you can nominate us for the Football Content Awards. There's the link in the description below, Rep Tracker, and obviously Lansdowne Raw. So we do appreciate your support. Also, while you're there, check out our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe. You can also catch up with the David Ford interview we carried out recently. We've got a great bit of fun with David. Very insightful, brilliant book right behind my shoulder there. I've still got my copy, signed by the great man himself, being the one. We'll also put a description in there of how you can get that. But yeah, absolutely brilliant time we had with him. Talking to David Dunne, this is a different David Dunne, thankfully. This is a David Dunne that we have high hopes for in Irish football. 16-year-old moved from Cork City, is confirmed that he's gone to AS Monaco. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? Like these young players. I love the kit in this image as well, by the way. But
because it's orange, is that why? And a certain when this is released, it's going to be a certain day for orange people. You horrible bastard! You horrible man!
Watch, you know. 1 minute. I can smell it. No, it's not sizzling yet. My bonfire.
Whoa! That's a bit too far.
Sorry. But no, I mean, 16 years old. What do we know about this lad though? Like, a 16-year-old going off now. Evan's going off 20 years old off to Italy. But he's been away. He's probably living in digs, or he's probably got a flat as an apartment in Brighton as an established player. But 16-year-old now off to Monaco. It's such a life, isn't it? I mean, what an experience that's going to be, and what a challenge. But how good is this lad?
No, he's double decent, as people would say. But yeah, he's a great player. He's another outstanding young winger to be coming out of Cork. Obviously, you had Jade Numa went to Benfica last summer. His brother Franco, he's at Palace now. It's great to see Matthew Murray score against Celtic the other day and get man of the match for Cork City, which is great to see, and expect him to go to England at the end of the season. Seems like Brighton's probably where he'll end up at. And obviously Cal O'Sullivan at the moment, sure it looks like all roads seem to be for Palace for him in the season. So Cork are doing, in fairness, doing a superb job of developing young talent. But yeah, David Dunne, he's the most famous David Dunne in Irish football, and that other clown can't ever say he's the most famous David Dunne in Irish football. But yeah, he's a brilliant player. He's been standing for Cork at underage level. Played quite a few times for the first team this season. Even as a 15-year-old, he's looked very good, and for Ireland as well, he's been absolutely brilliant. He was superb for under 15s, 16s, and played quite a few times for the 17s this year, and the team that's qualified for the World Cup. And I think this move will help him put him more in the picture, because he wasn't involved in the elite stages. Obviously, he was an age up, so at that age, 1 year is a massive year in terms of growth, and ability goes massively at that age. That's where you develop twice as fast. So maybe by comes to November, and he's playing regularly for Monaco in their academy in a pro setup of, obviously Cork's a pro setup, but in terms of underage level, he'll be in there 5 days a week, and he's turned down a pro contract at Monaco because that's probably what's best for his development. Go to that league, go to an academy in Monaco that has produced some unbelievable wingers over the years. You have Henry, Mbappe, Martial. So it's been outstanding for it's an outstanding academy to go to, especially for a winger. France is a very, very ruthless environment for young players because they're very quick to shoot you out on as quick as you get in, and he'll have to really perform and mentally be strong, and because they're one of the countries, as you know, what French people are like, Martin, there's no sugarcoating stuff with them, and they'll be honest. So yeah, but it shows how I know he had heavy interest from Copenhagen as well, which would have been an interesting move, and clubs like that. So it shows how talented he is. He's a real talent. It's strange. The announcement from Monaco was very odd because they announced the signing and then they put him and a couple of other signings they had in an article, just threw it in an article, and there was no picture of him signing the Monaco jersey. So maybe that'll just be the pictures with the jersey that when he officially moves over. But I'm sure that'll be in the next probably couple of weeks because he's already 16 and it's such an experience getting over there, and whether he makes the first team or not, you never know. But in France, in Monaco in particular, they love to promote first team players, and yeah, so I'm delighted to see this move happen. And also on Jade Numa, who's with him as well, I seen he was back in pre-season with Benfica today, and he was promoted to their 23s ahead of the new season now as well, which isn't bad for a 17-year-old at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in the first team by the end of the season, but that's just away from that. But yeah.
All right, brilliant. I mean, yeah, 16 years old. What a time he's going to have, and hopefully, yeah, a player that we'll be following. So
yeah, a real jinxy winger, I would say. Small, fast, excellent on the ball, takes people on for fun. Will probably make fun of a few wingers here and there, and scores goals. So exactly what you want in a winger.
Yeah. We've got obviously one other one to come through just here.
Yeah, one.
Just one, but save the best. I mean, the king is dead. Long live the king. Didsy's on the move.
Why would he be dead?
King? No, that's what they say. That's what they say.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Say. Yeah.
Of course you know that. Of course you'd know that because you're English. Who said that?
But, High Kings of Ulster and Leinster and things. That's what I'm on about. All right. Bit of Irish history for you. Right. Yes. This is Barnsley. Welcoming David McGoldrick. Didsy. I mean, he's trimmed the beard in this image as well, wasn't he? A little bit.
Yeah. He's fresh shave. Yeah. He looks younger there. In fairness,
he does.
He looks very happy to be there.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great move for him, isn't it? I mean, it is twilight of his career, but he's still banging in the goals. Fantastic last year, of course. And are you happy with that move?
I am.
To follow.
He is the definition of aging like fine wine, Martin, isn't he? He is. He's getting better at the age. Everyone thinks he's going to slow down. He doesn't slow down. I seen him do an interview today. He was saying about he doesn't know when he'll retire. He was talking about he thought probably Notts County would end up being his last club, but his body and he doesn't feel any worse than what he was 4 or 5 years ago. So it shows he's obviously keeping himself very fit, and he's ready to get to that next level of Barnsley. Who will obviously be hoping for promotion. It's a very good move to a side next year who will probably be hoping to get up to Championship, because obviously the loss in Wembley a couple of years ago last season didn't go well. They've got Conor O'Dowda in there as manager. I'm sure he done a very good job of convincing Didsy with the ex-Ireland connection. Always remember when Didsy got man the match against Georgia at home. Martin, do you remember that? And Conor O'Dowda scored the free kick when everyone threw the tennis balls on the pitch before. And I remember Didsy was unbelievable up front that day. So obviously them two would have a very good relationship. They played together actually at Derby a couple of seasons ago when Didsy tore up League One, and then everyone's like, he's leaving Derby, and everyone's like, oh, he's obviously going back to Championship. And then he went to League Two to go to his hometown club, Notts County. So yeah, the reality is, Martin, he could play in the Championship if he really wanted to, and if he'll make a massive difference to Barnsley this season. They'll be going promotion. Obviously, I've seen Luca Connell's been linked with a move away. I don't know if that'll happen or not, if they want to get promoted. You see, they've Neil Ferrugia there now. Got him in January from Shamrock Rovers, who's an excellent player who will help get them towards the title. And they've young Conor Barrett as well, who is a very good player. So yeah, hopefully we'll see Barnsley do very well this season, especially with the fact they have an Irish manager there now who will try and probably cement himself as because you could imagine Conor O'Dowda would be a very tactically astute coach and will be ready for whatever's thrown at him. So I think Barnsley do very well this season, and thank God they've the king to lead them all to promotion.
That's it. That's what the hope.
100 points. 100 points, and League Cup and FA Cup winners as well.
And that's just disappointing that he won't be in any of the fantasy football leagues, will he, though? Because he guaranteed you points, didn't he? Captain. You'd make him captain if he was in the Premier League and the
Yeah,
Fantasy League, wouldn't you?
only problem is, Martin, he would cost like 20 million, and you couldn't build the rest of your team. Like it would be impossible. Like how you meant to build the rest of your team?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, there's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you kill me over O'Dowda, but God.
There's one
Yeah,
difference to the two of them. What's the difference?
yeah.
One's good at football.
One's still doing it at the highest level. Joking. Champions League football. Is that what you're talking about? League One.
Let him qualify.
Anyway,
Let him qualify
wish him
first.
the best of luck. Well, I think they will. But why don't you want Robbie Keane to do well?
No, I do, but like, don't get too ahead of yourself. The job's not finished. The job's not
No, I
finished.
know. But again, look, just even there, you're talking about Conor Horahan, you're talking about Robbie Keane, Noel Hunt's obviously at Reading. We've got some fantastic Irish managers now, and we never used to speak about that. So that's brilliant as well for Irish football and the development of Irish football. So, you know, a lot of these lads as well have come through the Irish pathway. So, yeah, brilliant to see. And obviously looking after each other as well. You know, Horahan knows if I bring in Didsey, what he's going to give you and that leadership around the squad. So, you know, that will inspire some of the younger players he's obviously going to try and bring in and build into his squad and also, you know, but get results out of him as well. So really, really good to see. And obviously we'll be following it on our show weekly where we do OBIG, and that's where we give you the update of how the lads have all got on in their games.
Well, Didsey's not in it.
Ireland.
Didsey's not in that.
Well, he should be. Well, we'll have to have him honorary because he'll be banging goals every week. And I'll sound disrespectful now. We used to have Will Keane in it for too long. Jesus.
That's Dia's fault. Now, in fairness, we did. Remember when I did add Didsey in last year?
We had Aaron Conley. Yeah, we did. We had Aaron Conley. I think we
Aaron Conley
celebrate. Yeah, but I know that. But we should still celebrate players even if they have let Ireland down. I mean, not that Didsey did that. This ankle injury, though, it's cleared up quite well, wasn't it? The last 4 or 5 years. What was his last game? Was it the?
It was the playoff.
The penalty shootout one.
Yeah, when he was that performance that day was absolutely outrageous. He was so good, and a certain man, actually his manager now, missed an open goal. Do you remember that?
God, yeah, Jesus, that's the first conversation.
I can't believe we lost that game.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
but no.
And they'll tear it apart. But don't worry, he'll score at least 20 this year.
Yeah. No, we'll be following all of that, of course. So you can obviously subscribe to the show and you'll get notifications of when we are recording live. We do a live show as well. If you are new listeners or viewers to the show, make sure you have subscribed because that's where you'll hear what we're up to. And we've got lots and lots of plans. We're obviously going to be travelling over in September, October, and November for these World Cup qualification games where Ireland will be, as Heimer said, heading off to the USA next year. If you would like to get involved with the pod in any way as well, do DM us, message us, anything you'd like to see us do videos on or chat about, or even if you want to give us the heads up, if you want to be the new kid on the block replacing Rep Tracker or keep him on his toes, and you know of any eligible Irish footballers out there, do give us a shout as well because we can put you in contact with the people that matter.
And don't keep saying if I hear Nathan Redmond, keep hearing Nathan Redmond. Why is he not switching to Ireland one? Oh, these ones, you know, ones. It's like, why is he not switching? It's like
the ones that
he's not even eligible, and they're trying to. Oh, Callum O'Hare, he's the big one. They all try to say, well, he's Irish. He's Irish. He played for Gaelic football.
See, don't upset Conor. We don't like Conor being upset, and you know we have had recently some people causing him a lot of upset. Obviously, Martin O'Neill did recently. I did say this. If I'm going to give a little shout out to this because if you've got an Amazon Prime account, I think it is, you can get the download free of Martin O'Neill's book, and you can just slip to the chapter, and it's the last one, and it's a very good listen. But it's Martin O'Neill narrating it, so it's very, very funny because, like Conor recently, go back and check this out. This is our full episode where we were talking about Keith Andrews getting the Brentford job, and Martin O'Neill we felt was very critical and negative about Irish football and negative about Keith Andrews. You know, go and read
how he told Declan Rice.
Go and listen back to that one because it's a good one. But we put a clip up and it went viral, and it was all a bit, you know, very critical of myself and Conor, which was fine. That's what we're here to have, I suppose. But when you listen now to that chapter in Martin O'Neill's book, and Yeah, Jesus, and then you hear afterwards. Even in the, I forgot this, So he's come for Keith Andrews again on that on Talksport recently, but actually in his book he talks about Keith Andrews so heavily. It's incredible.
Does he?
So he
He
obviously
hates him.
has a bit of
I
a.
did. I liked when
He does.
I like Keith Andrews' response over the last couple of weeks, saying about that he's just such a proud Irishman. He's always grown up. All he cared about when he was younger was the Ireland national team, and you can tell that Keith Andrews is a proud Irishman.
Yeah.
Martin O'Neill tries to make it his personality that he's a proud Irishman. So yeah, he just does my head in. But he can do one anyway. But anyway, I'd love to get Martin O'Neill on the podcast someday. I don't know if he'd want to speak to me, to be honest. But I'll hit him that one.
Listen, your paths will cross one day, and that'll be fine. He's
Yeah, I don't know.
He's into real crime, isn't he? He'll
Is he,
probably
yeah?
commit a crime if he ever meets you.
I dare him. I
But,
dare him to give me a reason to.
But no, yeah. So do go back and check out all the past episodes of the show, because you'll find it informative as well. Obviously, follow Conor at Rep Tracker on X.
We still have we still have one more bit of news actually.
Oh, we have.
Are you
What was
wrapping
it?
it up? Yeah.
I was wrapping it up, but go on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sad news.
Okay.
I think it's only negative news of the story. Stade Reims will officially be playing in League. Is it Trois? Did you speak to Francesco? I did German, so I don't know what two is.
Yeah.
All I know is League. But yeah, yeah, because Lyon are no longer relegated to the second tier.
Oh yeah, they got away with that.
Stade Rem are actually being relegated, which you could say rightfully so. They are relegated. So yeah, so John Joe Patrick Finn and IK Razi will be in the second tier next season. I don't imagine John Patrick will get a move. I know it's. I've got to confirm that IK will definitely be at Stade Reims after the end of the summer, and they want him in the first team, and hopefully he'll become a regular next season, because I think he's the ability to be a game changer for Ireland very, very soon. And I do think if he starts playing regularly for them in that league, he could become a senior international by the end of the year. But I think first step is probably 21s in September, and he's a magnificent player. And yeah, I think John and Joe Patrick Finn, like, he has to become a regular next season. He has to play every week. And I think if he does really well and he tears that league up and he's like one of the standout midfielders, I think it would be hard not to pick him. But I do think if he just like kind of does what he done towards the end of the season, he has no shot of staying in the squad. Just with the lads coming back, and with the likes of Boston will hopefully be playing week in, week out, with Stoke and playing well. And there's other lads that you'll hope will break through. I've seen Romeo Akinchukwu is the only player at Southampton that is in their under 21s from last season that is with their first team for the full pre-season every single day. So it shows how highly Romeo was thought of at Southampton. So you can easily bypass as quick as it is to break into men's football with Ireland. Look what Aaron Connolly's situation. He was the new shiny toy at one stage, and he was our bright hope, and he looked like he was, even Obafemi as well, looked like they were our next strikers for the next 10, 15 years. And it's now they're completely forgotten about, like, to be honest with you, like, at this stage. I do think Obafemi will probably still get, I think Obafemi will definitely get a championship move this summer anyway. He seems to be working, in fairness, he seems to be working hard this pre-season, but is it too little too late? I don't think so, because he's still very young. But Connolly looks to be on the right path, I think, as well. I know you weren't here the other day when we spoke about it, but I do think we just have to let Connolly just probably enjoy his football again and get back playing week in, week out. And I do think he'll score for fun. I think if mentally he's in a great place, I think his football will just follow suit, and he'll tear up that league. But yeah, just long-winded that one. But yeah,
but that's what it's about, isn't it? That's what you're about, we're about here, and I think we want these Irish players to do well.
Yeah,
I mean, without me doing this, I wouldn't have a clue where half the players are going, and and that's a fact for a lot of Irish fans as well. So make sure if you have watched it and you're enjoying the show, that you do follow Conor at Rep Tracker. It's an incredible amount of work to obviously follow where these lads are now all over Europe. But in about 3 or 4 years' time, or earlier than that, these lads, some of them will be household names in the Irish midfield or wherever they're playing for Ireland. And you'll have heard about them here first, to be honest, and we'll know their journey, and we've kind of brought you that news, hopefully, and we've been supporting them all the way. So it doesn't work out for everyone, of course, but this is why we want to hear from you, the fans, sometimes on what your views are. We will do a live show soon as well, so you can kind of we'll wrap up all these transfers. And you can obviously have your say if you think it's going to be successful. We know that a lot of Irish fans as well follow English teams as well as a second team, perhaps to their League of Ireland team or whatever it is. So, you might see them week in, week out. We know there's a good affiliation here with a number of the Raw faithful who follow QPR and Brentford. So, especially from West London here. So, do
you actually know Brentford fans? Do you actually know Brentford fans?
I do, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know.
I do, yeah.
I hope there's
no
no
I
Brentford
do.
fans.
I'm like we've spoken as well, haven't we? We're going to try and catch a few games now, kind of go and see some of these lads who are kind of a little bit below the radar, and they're just made moves and stuff, because I think it'd be good to see them in their club football, and it makes it interesting following Irish lads and seeing how they're getting on with their club. So we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for everyone for viewing this evening. Make sure you have subscribed before you log off, and do follow us all on our social platforms, and it would be really appreciated as well, one more time, in the Football Content Awards, if you could give us that nomination for Best in Social for Rep Tracker, and the Best Podcast obviously for International for Lansdowne Raw. Just to kind of emphasise again, we go to all the games. The lads are over there in the press box before and after games, giving you all the news from the stadium, team news, getting your thoughts as Irish fans, pre-match, post-match, the big fallout from the games as well. We've got interviews with former players, current players as well. We get all the gossip as well, and we share that with you, the Raw faithful. So thanks for your support of the pod. Keep that going, and we'll catch up with you very soon. Come on, you boys in green.